students, good evening. Today we are going to learn the topic of climate of India, lesson number 4, 10th class, the state syllabus, and as well as 9th class, the CBSE syllabus. And already I told you this is a combined lesson for both 9th CBSE and 10th state. And this is part 3 of climate of India. And in this part we are going to explain. And this is part 3 of climate of India. In this part we are going to explain the topic of relief. Yes, in this third topic we are going to explain the topic of relief. And under relief what we have to learn? Relief means the higher elevation places. Suppose we see on the surface of the earth and we are observing the hills and the valleys and we are observing the tablelands and the same way the mountains. So suppose all these higher elevation places are also greatly inspired the climate of our country India. And we have to see the topic relief regarding the higher elevational places. What is the basic concept we have to learn about? Normal lapse rate. Now we have to see what is the meaning of normal lapse rate. And you have learned, I think, in the lower classes. And as we move from the surface of the earth up to the higher elevations, for every 1000 meters of height, at least 6.4 degree, at the rate of 6.4 degree Celsius temperature is to be declined. Suppose we see this is surface of the earth, and as we move from surface of the earth towards ascent, if we move towards ascent for every 1000 meters, and it is explaining 6.4 degree Celsius temperature decreased. So this is to be called as a normal lapse rate. Yes, according to this principle, normal lapse rate, suppose we take the surface of the earth of a place comprised 32 degree Celsius temperature. Suppose we identify a mountain and which is the height of 1000 meters, and a person who is standing above the mountain and he has experienced what is the temperature we have to subtract here. 32 minus 6.4. It means approximately 25.6 or 26 degree Celsius temperature approximately is above the mountain. It means what is the temperature rate on the surface of the earth from this area. As we move towards north, temperature is gradually decreasing. It means by this we have to notice a general concept from the surface of the earth anywhere in the world. From the surface of the earth as we move towards ascent, and it is a decline of about 6.4 degrees temperature for every 1000 meters. And this is to be called as a normal lapse rate. And according to this, what is the general concept we have to observe here? So all the world's higher elevational places are recording generally low temperatures, and all the lower elevational places are generally records the higher in temperature. It means we can see some examples in our India. Suppose we go to the Tirumala and we go to the Tirupati, and when we visit the two places, and it is clearly observing that the temperature on Tirumala is lower than the temperature on Tirupati. So the reason, compared to the height of Tirupati, Tirumala is located 853 meters, and above that 853 meters Lord Balaji temple Tirumala Sri Venkateswara Swami temple is located. Suppose we see the temperature difference between Tirupati and Tirumala, and what is the difference we have to observe here? Tirupati is hotter than Tirumala. In the same way, suppose we take here, suppose the Plateau region, Hyderabad, and I am drawing the Andhra Pradesh before bifurcation. Suppose we take the Plateau region, Hyderabad, and the plain region, Visakhapatnam both. Generally, Visakhapatnam comprised here the region comprising more temperature than the Plateau, because a plateau has a somewhat higher elevation compared to a plain. Suppose this is a part A comprising plain and this is a part B comprising plateau. So plateau has lower temperature compared to plain. It means by these two examples, what is the general concept we have to digest here? The higher elevation places are due to the principle of normal lapse rate. Those areas are receiving low temperatures, and whereas lower elevation places are recording higher in temperatures. And we have to see some examples. Suppose we see in our India number of mountaineer zones and peak places and mountaineer places are located. Example, we go to the Tamil Nadu, Kodaikanal, Ooty, and we go to North India the same way: Simla, Darjeeling, Nainital, Mussoorie, Ranikhet, Chakrata. All these the mountaineer zones, hilly stations, they are comprising generally low temperature compared to the remaining areas. Suppose we come to the south, also same. In South India, in Tamil Nadu, nearby the Nilgiri hills, we can see one hill station called Ooty, which is also known as Udagamandalam. And we know very well, Ooty or Udagamandalam comprising lower in temperature compared to the remaining areas. So why this is already we discussed. This is because of the effect of normal lapse rate. So I think you are understanding about the effect of relief. It means all the higher elevation places are receiving lower in temperature, whereas lower elevation places are receiving higher in temperature. It means lower elevation places have high in temperature, higher elevation places are existing low in temperature. This is the effect about relief. Then come to know about upper air circulation. And in this topic we have to learn about upper air circulation. Means what we have to understand. See on the board map. Suppose this is surface of the earth, and we know above the total earth surrounded by air, water vapor, gases, dust particles, and we know collectively it means water vapor, air, gases, dust particles, all these are lying on the surface of the earth and collectively called as atmosphere. And if we go to the above higher areas of the atmosphere, the horizontal movement of air is to be observed. So that a horizontal movement of air is to be called wind. And this horizontal moving wind also affect on our climate. And the higher elevation places, air is flowing fastly, because on the immediate surface of the earth, the forest areas, higher lower elevation areas, hills, hillocks, mountains, plateaus, even the living areas, because of all these areas we are observing that air is unable to move fastly. But we have to see above the surface nearly 12,000 feet above the surface of the earth, 12,000 feet higher areas, air is freely, fastly moving. This fastly moving air is to be called jet stream, also called upper air circulation. And this speedily moving wind, how effect on our climate, now we have to see. when the air is speedily moving on the parallel to the earth's surface, that jet stream which is moving fastly, a jet stream which is moving fastly is attracting number of clouds, and a jet stream make its front area cool, and when a jet stream make the front side area cool, and by this making of the cool, all sides clouds are to be attracted, and in that area we can see and we can observe rainfall. And because of this upper air circulation, and we are observing the rainfall occurrence, and by the occurrence of rainfall automatically the temperatures are becoming down, and this upper air circulation is to be generally observed on the above equatorial zone, and exactly at 25 degrees of northern latitudes. Actually, the winds are moving from the subtropical area, and the subtropical area onwards they are moving towards equator side, and exactly these winds are even able to push the steamers, ships which are going on the sea, and that's why these winds are helpful for trade. That's why these winds are called trade winds. Actually, the word trade is coming from the German word track. Trade means track. It means they are providing the movement of the wind in a proper way. That's why these winds are also showing effect on our climate. So these are the four parts which we called as climate controls, which are controlling our India's climate. And the first one what we discussed, latitude. Number 2 is relative distribution of land and water, already we discussed in the last video. And third one, relief, and now itself we explained to you. And the fourth one, upper air circulation, which is also called as jet streams. Okay students, you are observing world map on the screen, and we are going to explain upper air circulation through this map. And already I told you upper air circulation also called as jet streams, and I told you these jet streams are moving above the surface of the earth 12,000 meters. And if we see the speed of these jet streams, in the summer 110 kilometers per hour, whereas in winter they are blowing with 184 kilometers per hour. And we are observing these jet streams are developing above 25 degrees of northern latitudes. If we observe here 25 degree northern latitude means what are the areas? And you know very well our India's central, which line is passing Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree. So above the Tropic of Cancer at 25 degree northern latitude means it is approximately the North India, including Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, and Uttar Pradesh, Sikkim, and Arunachal. It means by this upper air circulation, all the northern states are influenced by this upper air circulation. And also we have to understand here these upper air circulation also caused to actually in India this belt actually located dry northeast trade winds. I already told you the German word trade means track, and they are blowing steadily in the same direction and a constant course. And actually, in the northern hemisphere, subtropical high pressure belt gives rise to permanent winds, and they blow towards the equatorial low pressure belt by reflecting towards the west and are called trade winds. And these cooling effect of the easterly jet streams causes rain from clouds already found over this latitude at 25-degree northern latitudes. Okay, ma, thank you.